the offense, Greg. Maye, was this Drake Maye's best start yet?
Yeah, it was. I wouldn't say like by far, because I mean it was my highest rated game for Maye. It was my highest rated quarterback. It just edged out Jacoby Brissett in Week 1 against the Bengals, and that is even with me putting the interception to Hunter Henry on Drake Maye. The way I saw that play, and the coach's film gives you a good angle at it. I mean, it's just, Hunter Henry he's setting up, and he knows the linebacker is on his right, so he's sort of leaning on his left leg, like expecting the ball should be like right here. That's ideally it should have been on his back shoulder, his left shoulder, and Maye throws a fastball sort of knee level, just outside his body. Like, when you're expecting a pass that way, when you're sort of leaning that way, and then it comes back the other way, it's a tough catch. But, overall, I thought, like the grade even came out, with the interception. I thought Maye was really good in this game. We talked going into this game, and both things sort of came to be true. It wasn't quite Drake Maye's coming out party. It was pretty damn good. And we talked going in. I said, if they win this game, it's because Drake Maye owns Gus Bradley's cover 3 defense, which he did, largely for the most part. But also, if they lose this game, then we're probably going to be talking about Anthony Richardson's athletic ability, how they embrace his running ability, and how the Patriots just don't with Drake Maye. And I think both were true in this game. I thought, I don't need to see Drake Maye. I don't need to see a bunch of designed runs for Drake Maye. But when you get into gotta have it situations, goal to go, which they sucked at in this game, game on the line, whether it's, before halftime or after the Gonzalez interception, like, you got to incorporate Drake Maye's legs into that. It gives you another weapon. It's hard for the defense. I mean, look at what the Patriots did with Richardson, how many difficulties they had with that. But back to your point, I thought Drake was really good. I mean, obviously the Hooper touchdown pass was awesome. I thought the Hunter Henry third down pass when the Rams brought a blitz was great. He had an in-cut to Kendrick Bourne where it looked like he was well schooled this week, and I think they probably drew a lot from the Rams game, similar to sort of zone-based scheme, where they told Drake, like, you're going to have openings, but you're going to have to be quick and decisive, and you're going to have to hold the linebackers. And one time he looked left, knowing that Bourne was coming on an in-cut, and so he looked left and just let it go and barely beat the linebacker. Those types of plays were high level.
Patriots have a quarterback.
Yes.
I'm not so sure he's not right now the best quarterback in this class. It changes week over week. Look, Caleb's been awesome since the Commanders game. He's been starting to really, he takes some bad sacks, but he's starting to really put up some big time numbers. Obviously, time and possession stuff at the end there. Although, the coach that got fired, Matt Eberflus, should have saved his rookie quarterback. Jaden Daniels has been a pretty good all year. Had a much better afternoon yesterday. Looked a little healthier. But there was a pretty bleak stretch here from when they were 7-2 to when they're now 8-5. I mean, that was a 4-game stretch that was like, that's a little rookie wall-ish. I feel truly like Drake Maye overall has probably been the most impressive.
But to your point, again, if you play the what-if game, because Drake Maye is establishing himself as a potential foundational piece, Ben Johnson would be interested in this job. Mike Vrabel would, Vrabel might have been to begin with. But I'm just saying, when you start talking about the top candidates out there, all of a sudden this job would be, because of what Maye has shown, a much more coveted position than it would have even been a year ago.
Drake Maye, probably his best game as a pro. 24 of 30, completes 80% of his throws, 238 yards, a touchdown to Austin Hooper. The interception that we just went over, that was not really his fault. Also has 5 rushes for 59 yards on the ground with the long of 41. I thought overall, Taylor, he was on time. I thought he was accurate. He threw with anticipation, took what the defense gave him, and led the Patriots to the most yards they've had in a game since 2022, both rushing and passing total combined. So obviously, like I said earlier, too.
My God.
Yeah, second most
my
points scored this season as well, to only the Jets game a few weeks ago. So a good, solid offensive performance, at least from Drake Maye. Break it down further. What did you see from the 22-year-old that made you happy on Sunday?
It was a lot, man. First, this was the first game where he truly had no turnover-worthy plays. That's huge. That was something we said we needed to see from Drake Maye, because in every other game, he either committed a turnover-worthy play or had a play that was a turnover where you're still like, okay. It's not like the worst thing in the world. You'll learn, but, you got to protect the football. Did a great job doing that. Like we said, the interception was not on him. It's a fluke play, which is like, this man, his brand of play is madness, but it feels like it also attracts some like chaos energy from defenses, where it's just like he gets the weirdest luck sometimes and this like really funky shit happens. But anyway, he did really well. He has completed at least, I believe it's 70 or 75% of his passes in 3 of his last 4 games, which is incredible. He had over 80% of his passes that were accurate in this game. I love the patience he showed. I loved it against a Gus Bradley defense. I saw in some corners of the internet people saying that he was unwilling to go downfield. That was not true. Gus Bradley was literally daring him from his cover 3 scheme to throw downfield and create those turnover-worthy plays and throw into bad windows. Drake was like, nah, thank you. I'm just going to take what you give me. Really, really impressive stuff from a rookie. You don't often see them adapt their game the way that Drake does, where this is like we talked about it. He's got a big arm. He runs a lot. Obviously, he was able to do some things with his legs, but he also was playing in structure. He's not taking the bait when defenses try to get him to throw into bad windows, and the accuracy and anticipation are fantastic. The anticipation doesn't surprise me, but the ball placement, especially in the quicker game, really, really does, because we thought his accuracy was going to be up and down early in his career. Best day that I've seen from Drake Maye. The patience, the accuracy, both against tight coverage and just to know how to exploit holes in zone coverage. And also you still saw a little bit of that playmaking ability off schedule. So I was very excited with what I saw from him. If you're a Patriots fan, be happy that you got yourself a Drake Maye, right? That's the hardest part of the offense to address. You got your quarterback. Now try to finish strong and surround him with more talent. But yeah, I thought it was a really, really impressive performance from the rookie.
So when I look at Drake Maye against the Colts, convert 5 first downs on passes that leave his hand as or before his intended target is making a break on his route, that's it right there. I don't care if it's man coverage. I don't care if it's zone coverage. Drake Maye hit a new high with his anticipation on Sunday against the Colts, where, the overall numbers are good. Again, you knew he was playing well. 24-30 for 238 yards, a touchdown and a pick, 59 rushing yards, 41 of those on a scramble. But it was the anticipation. 2 third down throws to Hunter Henry right on the money. Before Hunter Henry turns his head around, the ball is there. Boom. 16-yard touchdown. Austin Hooper. He's breaking towards the flag on that corner route. Right over the shoulder. Touchdown. Kendrick Bourne. I tweeted this clip out. Going over the middle. Finds a soft spot in cover 2. Okay, Hunter Henry holds the nearby hook defender. Kendrick Bourne slips in behind. Ball right in stride, right there before Bourne gets into that window. He had another 7-yard out. Austin Hooper still tweeted it. This is not the last step for Drake Maye, but it's a crucial one because there are good, let's say average, NFL quarterbacks that go through their entire careers needing to see an open window before they deliver that ball. They want to see the receiver break. They want to know that he's open. Then they throw it. Great NFL quarterbacks know the window is going to come open or create it themselves with these types of throws. Again, Drake Maye did that 5 times against the Colts, who you could say, okay, these are not like the 2000 Ravens, 85 Bears, or even the Eagles this year. Fine. But you go back and watch those throws. And if you'd rather look at the stat sheet, here's the number for you. A CPOE, completion percentage over expected, plus 10.3%, meaning Drake Maye, yes, had an 80% completion percentage, 24 of 30, 238 yards, pretty good. Based on the proximity of the defenders to his receivers, how far these throws were, and how tight the windows were, his expected completion percentage was only about 69. Still not bad. He did 80. This spoke to his anticipation, his arm talent, and his accuracy. This was an outstanding day for him. So whether you look at the stats, you want to look at the clips, and granted, the Colts play a pretty straightforward scheme, right? It's a cover 3 base. They didn't blitz a whole lot. When they did play man, he killed them. Touchdown to Hooper, 41-yard scramble, couple out completions to Hunter Henry. And they did sprinkle in some disguise cover too, but it didn't matter. He sifted through the disguise. He beat the tight man-to-man coverage with these anticipatory throws, which gets to the point of there's no defense for a perfect pass. And if this kid who can throw the ball 70 yards downfield with a flick of his wrist, who can scramble for 41 yards, the third longest play of the season for the Patriots, by the way, is now making 12-yard corner routes or 8-yard out routes or skinny posts and hitting them between the numbers on the move against different types of coverage, there's nothing he can't do. I'm not saying this will continue. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but this was a leap. This was different from Drake Maye. Whether you looked at the traditional box score, the advanced metrics, or the clips that I tweeted, those anticipatory throws can and will take him to another level. He needs to do it again and again, but this was a first step and a big one for a kid who is not even taking steps anymore. These are leaps. He's had 8 starts, and he was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this week, and it was no accident.
Talking about Drake Maye, really efficient day, against that Gus Bradley zone defense. It was basically all underneath stuff, but 80% completion rate, just really efficient. He did have that turnover, weird play. Like, could he have put it on Hunter Henry's other shoulder? Yes, but it was also probably a play Hunter Henry still should have caught. But it gets tipped up into the air, interception. But I thought Drake Maye was awesome yesterday. What were your thoughts on number 10 there?
I thought this was pound for pound his best game of the year. And maybe he didn't have, I guess he had the 41-yard run, but like passing, he didn't have that big social media moment. The throw to Austin Hooper's excellent touch throw, but that's not the kind of throw that's going to go viral on Twitter. But he I thought he saw the field well. Was pretty accurate. Didn't put the ball in harm's way. First full game where he hasn't been credited with the turnover-worthy play. I put the interception on Henry. Like, he throws that ball low to keep the ball out of harm's way and keep Hunter Henry out of harm's way. I thought his decisions when to run and when not to run were good. He mostly protected himself when he was running. There's a couple of nitpicks here and there, but that was his most complete game as a pro. And that it was the first time where I really felt like, we've talked about how he's going to get better. Like, he needs to get better, but also some of what's wrong with him right now will be made better once they have better personnel, once they get a better line, once they get better receivers. This was the first game where I felt like when I look for where the improvement is, the areas of improvement definitively lean towards improving the personnel rather than his own growth. There's been other games where like both are apparent, right? But this was the one where it was really like, yeah, if he gives you that game, and he only threw for 238 yards. He got a bunch of those late, 30-something yards late on the Hunter Henry throws. So it's not that impressive a game statistically, but you give him a real line, you give him real receivers, and he plays that game, you're going to win more often than not. And there's still room to get better, but he was pretty good. If he can maintain that level of play through the final 4 games, especially when it comes to protecting the football, I think you feel really good about where he's at going into year 2.
Support us and sign up at Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the app today and use code CLNS at prizepicks.com/CLNS and get $50 instantly when you play $5.